Welcome to the IMT School for Advanced Studies Lucca PhD graduation ceremony. We now give the floor to the director of the IMT School, Professor Pietro Pietrini, who will give his address.
Good afternoon to everyone and welcome to our graduation ceremony. Let me first thank the authorities who are here with us today, the Forze dell'Ordine, and all of you. I'm going to speak in English because, as known, the school is an international school. Some of the graduates today come from foreign countries, and therefore, the ceremony will be in English with simultaneous translation available for everyone. Before I begin, though, I wish to read you the remarks by Alessandro Tambellini, who is the Vice President of the Lucca Foundation for Higher Education and Research, and is also the Mayor of the city of Lucca. And I will read these his remarks, and these are in Italian. Cari amici, mi rivolgo così confidenzialmente sia al professor Pietro Pietrini, direttore della scuola IMT, sia al corpo docente, sia a voi tutti che vi siete addottorati, per quella singolare concordanza che, pur in epoche diverse, lega e accomuna coloro che hanno creduto nello studio, nella ricerca, nei risultati della scienza, come modo per rendere migliore la nostra vita e per dar senso al nostro rapporto con gli altri e con il mondo che abbiamo intorno. Per molti di voi si chiude un ciclo. Spero che la vostra permanenza a Lucca sia stata l'occasione per entrare nell'anima di una città la cui lunghissima storia è testimonianza di una vitalità culturale di cui anche la scuola IMT e voi stessi siete espressione. Ogni conclusione, tuttavia, è il presupposto per un nuovo inizio, per nuovi momenti di impegno nel solco che avete tracciato. Mi auguro che il nostro Paese comprenda sempre di più il valore della ricerca e della scienza e che possa creare sempre più numerose possibilità di lavoro e di espressione per i giovani che con tanta dedizione e con alti risultati si sono applicati nell'ambito dello studio. A voi tutti le mie felicitazioni per la positiva conclusione del vostro ciclo di studio e i migliori auguri per il vostro futuro, che immagino ricco di soddisfazioni e di riconoscimenti per tutti voi. Il sindaco di Lucca e vicepresidente della Fondazione Lucchese per l'Alta Formazione e la Ricerca, professor Alessandro Tambellini, che ringraziamo. Il professor Tambellini non può essere con noi oggi perché in città vi è una visita ufficiale che credo che abbia visita ufficiale ministeriale, che ha impegnato anche le altre cariche, le autorità, che ringrazio anche in italiano per la loro presenza oggi qua, e per questo si scusa con noi. Dunque, now let's switch again to English for the graduation ceremony, and I'm honored to be here for the second time to hold this ceremony for today. First of all, a real warm welcome goes to you all, because we are here to celebrate the IMT school students who graduate today. This is the main reason, the reason of our being here today. And those of you who graduate today were selected from almost over 5,000 students who applied to the 27th, the 28th, and 29th cycle from countries all over the world. So these are the doctorate cycles that those who graduate today belong to, and the small or bigger circles indicate in approximate way the weight of the number of application individuals coming to the doctorate program from different countries. And as you can see, is really Italy is an important, is our country, and many doctorate students many applications come from Italy, but you can really see that the school has an international attraction from all over the world. Why to study at the IMT? Well, it's not certainly right now the right moment to tell you why you should study at the IMT school since you completed your studies. But I think that the reason why you selected IMT school over other places, other possibility, is because the school's research is organized into distinct and multidisciplinary research units and didactic areas. The work carried out in the research unit is directly and strictly connected to the IMT's multidisciplinary PhD programs that, as you know, is subdivided, comprises different curricula, 4 different curricula. What we wish to pursue here at the IMT? We wish to boost the hunger to learn, analyze, and solve problems. In other words, the ability to ask why a given phenomenon is like that, and what can we do to solve a problem or to approach a problem with an innovative approach. The ability to tackle problem solving not limited by the confines of single disciplines, and the aptitude to quickly familiarize oneself with tools and methods in different fields. This is, in 3 words, in 3 sentences, what our interdisciplinary and integrated approach wishes to pursue. Today, as the Major and the Vice President of FLARF wrote in his address to us, is the conclusion of a cycle, is a final point of your pathway of studying or your PhDs. But final points are always and should always be a point to look forward, to look at the future. And so, looking to your future, what we wish for you is to continue to explore new paths, take risks, make your mark on the world. At the same time, don't forget IMT. Continue to be part of the IMT school, join our alumni association, and continue to play a key role in our school's success and that of our community. Having studied at IMT school is something that will be left with you for your entire life, will stay with you for your entire life, and should, and I wish this will be the case, should give you the sense of belonging, the sense of institutional sense of being part of a community that assigned such important part of your life when you were getting your PhD, and so basically choosing what to become as a grown-up. Look into the school's future. The school is growing, has been growing, will grow, and this is a certaintiness. We continue to look for new and innovative ways to consolidate our national and international presence. An ongoing growth process which is based on a rigorous merit-based international selection procedure. As I said before, you were selected among the 3 years put together 5,000 students. Today, graduates are only 37, so this means that there is a strict and highly selective mechanism and procedure before one can be admitted to the IMT school. Last year, we received 3,745 applications for 34 positions, which means 1 position for around 110 applications, which is a huge number, and allow us to really recruit or try to recruit the most qualified and most devoted and most motivated students from all over the world. I said try to recruit because being in such a competitive system where we can really attract students from all over the world, not only we choose the best students, but also students choose us because they can choose. So they have offers from different PhD programs, and so for us is a particular honor to have been chosen by you who are here together today, because we know that most of you, had an opportunity to go elsewhere, but you decided to stay here, to be part of the IMT community because of the reasons that I I said before, and because of what the school is. So a rigorous merit-based international selection procedure is a key for success. Another issue is the continuous addition of new innovative programs developing novel, interesting aspects of didactic and research. And we are doing this by also improving our fruitful collaborations with universities in Italy and abroad. And actually today, I think there is just an indication of first graduate who actually is a proof of what I'm saying. So in one sentence, those of you who graduate today embraced the IMT approach and hopefully succeeded in obtaining your PhD program, and we wish that you will succeed also in your life, in your work life, in your academic life. The data we have from, based on the graduates the students who have graduated so far are very encouraging. I'm not going to show statistics today, but it's very encouraging. So we think that you will become one of the many IMT alumni working around the world for university, research centers, international institutions, banks, government agencies, and multinational firms. In any case, we hope that by having been here and having studied here, you really obtained or ameliorated those tools that are really what make us unique as living beings on this planet. The ability to ask why of things, and to not live as a spectator on this planet, but as an intelligent being. So this is your day. This is really your celebration day, and for which closes this 3 years and more of studying with us, and this day is dedicated to you. We have a pleasure and honor to have today the Lectio Magistralis delivered by Professor Bella Bolobas. I'm not going to say anything because it will be properly introduced by my colleague and friend, Professor Guido Caldarelli. But I think that the title that you will see of Professor Bolobas' lecture is the title itself is, and the title was not agreed upon. I mean, of course, we were so honored to have Professor Bolobas delivering the Lectio Magistralis that we didn't even dare to think of concording a title, but the title, if I had to write it, could not have been different, more precisely than this, because it's what actually I think represents what students at IMT school should be able to do and to consider in their life. So I wish to thank you all you for sharing this voyage, these 3 years of voyage on this planet with us. If we have been able to provide you with new tools with a greater curiosity than when you entered the school, with a greater ability to investigate questions and to look at things not superficially, but going deeper into details, not to stay at what happens in what you see on the surface, what is a common sense, what people say, but to go really with your thinking, then we have succeeded, and I could not be happier than by this. Thank you very much.
We now invite Felicia Caponigri to the podium, a current PhD student in the analysis and management of cultural heritage curriculum.
Professor Pietrini, esteemed members of the faculty, honored guests, graduates, and my fellow PhD students, it is a pleasure to speak to you today. As a current PhD student, it is inspiring to watch those that have come before us at IMT receive their doctorates today and to celebrate their innovative research, original contributions to their fields, and of course, all their hard work. It is also an opportune moment to celebrate the IMT program and the unique opportunities it continues to present its PhD students. Today, in my brief address, I would like to call attention to 3 words which characterize the IMT PhD program and which also led me to join the IMT community as a PhD student in analysis and management of cultural heritage from the United States, interdisciplinary, local, and international. As an American lawyer specializing in art law, I am keenly aware of how two seemingly different disciplines, art and law, inform each other. How tracking down the provenance of a work of art to prove clear title often requires mastery of a foreign language and an appreciation of a foreign land's art historical canon. How legal opinions regarding the assessment of a work of art's authenticity often turn on the critical gaze of an art historian or the artist himself. How even the very understanding of what we might legally define as cultural heritage is globally universal and yet is sometimes still seen as culturally specific. We often speak at IMT of how we are multidisciplinary, but we are just as importantly interdisciplinary. Inside of the cultural heritage track, we examine single issues surrounding cultural heritage from the perspective of multiple disciplines under the guidance of our expert professors. We deploy the traditional perspectives of museology, art history, philosophy, and aesthetics, but also take the perspectives of technicians who must scan cultural heritage objects, data managers who must facilitate online engagement with a museum collection, lawyers who must help to keep cultural property safe through rules and regulations, and marketing directors who must identify the value proposition for a cultural institution. We are encouraged to address the challenges posed by multiple stakeholders who may affect cultural organizations, and to envision how economics might play a practical role in both curbing and supporting our, at times grandiose, visions for cultural heritage. IMT encourages us to look past any superficial conception of our chosen field and to dig deep into its true meaning for society and the positive impact cultural heritage may have for the world at large when it is inspired by and itself inspires other fields. IMT, perhaps more than any other institution of which I am aware, provides us with this precious interdisciplinary mindset with which to affront the challenges and opportunities we face as we seek to preserve and enhance cultural heritage wherever we are in the world in real time. As I searched for PhD programs and research units after graduating law school, I could find no other program that so finely joined together the substance of art history with the practical ramifications inherent to managing our shared cultural heritage. Of course, it is all well and good to focus on cultural heritage in the classroom, but cultural heritage is meant to inform our everyday lives. And of course, this is meant to be true not only for cultural heritage students. Whether we study economics, computer science, or neuroscience, we can all be found at some point during our week contemplating the events of the day on the historic Renaissance-era walls of this beautiful city in which time often seems to stand still. In fact, I confess I wrote this very address on those walls. The site-specific nature of Lucca is one which no other city in the world can replicate. A few months ago, I was walking on the Renaissance-era walls and came upon a small active painting workshop in the model of its Renaissance forebears. This city of churches, as Henry James described it, offers a historic discovery on each of its winding streets. Whether it is the discovery of a Jacopo della Quercia altarpiece in San Frediano, a meditative meander through Villa Guinigi, or a classical musical concert in a piazza, studying at the IMT library in a modern design that reframes a renovated and deconsecrated church, attending lectures in the peacefully restored convent of San Francesco, and drafting projects in one of our own courtyards are all experiences that feed our researchers' souls and which we simply could not have anywhere else. More than simple respite and tranquility, however, Lucca also provides a perfect springboard for field research that takes place both in other parts of Tuscany and in the rest of Italy. It is a perfect base from which to soar into archives in Florence and libraries in Pisa, and provides a welcoming place to land whenever the cities of Rome or Milan might prove too hectic for measured thought and writings. Of course, inside the local specificity of Lucca and its Tuscan charm reside all of us, PhD students from different countries and different backgrounds that speak many different languages. What IMT affords us is a chance to interact with each other and to navigate our differences in both a professional and collegiate environment. In another program, we might safely retreat to our own proverbial castles, barricading ourselves in our own traditions and expectations. Instead, we break bread together, discuss politics together, commiserate over writing deadlines together, and share our different traditions through food and celebration. We get to know each other, thrown as we are together in a new and unfamiliar but beautiful place, apart from our nationalities or origins. Instead, we meet as individual people. We break down stereotypes and preconceived notions in our everyday professional and collegiate interactions with each other. Not only do we become more tolerant, we also become more self-aware. Such an experience would be almost impossible in many of our own countries, where large geographic distances often create a barrier to easy travel and resulting cultural exchange. Fostering international relationships is, of course, a skill we all need more and more. IMT fosters friendship and professional alliances across borders by creating this international community where we live alongside each other as we pursue our research objectives. Moreover, this sense of community is present not only between PhD students, but also in my experience with faculty, who are happy to share an experience of researching in the US in the early days of their career and to inquire as to our own perceptions of Lucca. As an American, I have, by coming to research in Tuscany, followed in the footsteps of so many Anglo-American writers and scholars who came before me. I have also, however, made a new discovery in IMT, a place where interdisciplinary research flourishes in the specific historic locale of Lucca as it hosts an international community. The power of such an environment to attract inquiring minds and eager researchers from around the world, ready to propose solutions to the issue of the day, should not be underestimated. Thank you very much.
We invite Fabiana Zollo to the stage, a newly graduated PhD student who is now a postdoctoral researcher at the Ca' Foscari University of Venice.
Dear guests, colleagues, professors, alumni, friends, I am delighted and humbled to speak today. When I enrolled on my PhD, I wasn't completely aware of what it entailed. The only thing I knew was that I really wanted to pursue an academic career. I was full of enthusiasm, eager to learn, ready to do my best in my doctoral program. And IMT seemed to be the perfect place to focus in such a peaceful and cloistral atmosphere. When my grandmother went to visit me for her first time, she was really impressed by the campus and by the high presence of churches all around Lucca. Finally, she asked me, with a very serious expression in her face, "Wouldn't you think of becoming a nun now? Would you? Joking aside, I'm not here today to tell you that everything was easy. Of course, it was not. I put my heart into it, but it was hard. In my case, I had the invaluable chance of having a great mentor right beside me, day in and day out. He deserves my deepest and sincere acknowledgement today. Thanks to his trust in my capabilities, I had the opportunity to work in an extraordinary interdisciplinary team where differences have always been a plus. We learned to listen to different viewpoints, sometimes even opposite. We learned to overcome problems together, to put aside the benefit of the single in favor of the group. I learned a lot. I learned that defeats are part of the game, but that they also count much more than victories. I learned the importance of being open-minded and humble. That is a key step for entertaining constructive exchanges with people having different perspectives. In her speech at Yale last year, US Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power said, "You have to find a way to break out of your own echo chambers. It's in your interest to engage the people you disagree with, rather than shutting them out or shutting them up. Not only because it gives you a chance to challenge their views and maybe even change them, but also because sometimes they might just be right." Perhaps that's the most important lesson I learned during my PhD, and I'm struggling to put it into practice in my daily life. Since January, I am a postdoctoral researcher at Ca' Foscari University of Venice. 4 years later, my dream of pursuing an academic career is still alive. Naturally, the journey will be long, but I left Lucca with a better consciousness of both my limits and capabilities, ready to face the challenges along the way. There's a beautiful quote by Italo Calvino, an Italian journalist and writer, that says, "Take life lightly, for lightness is not superficiality, but gloving about things, not having weights on your heart." That's my wish for all of us. Thank you.
The ceremony proceeds with the awarding of the PhD diplomas. We invite Professor Pietrini and Professor Bolabash back to the podium. I now invite our graduates to come to the podium and receive their diplomas. Yahya Mustafa Abd al-Rahman, PhD in Computer, Decision and System Science, with a thesis on a foundational theory for attribute-based communication. Francesco Angelini, PhD in Economics, with a thesis on essays of economics and the arts. Tiziano Antoniozzi, PhD in Management and Development of Cultural Heritage, with a thesis on Fine but Liberal, the Roman Revolution and the Art Scene of Rome, 1846-1849. Davide Boschetto, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on quantitative methods for computer-aided decision support systems of the gastrointestinal tract. Giulia Cancellieri, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on exploring the social, strategic, and community-based antecedents of norm-breaking behaviors, evidence from the Italian opera field. Mauro Colletto, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on analysis of polarized communities in online social networks. Riccardo Mario Cucciolla, PhD in Political History, with a thesis on the crisis of Soviet power in Central Asia, the Uzbek-Katan Affair, 1975-1991. His doctoral thesis was co-supervised by the National Research University Higher School of Economics, Moscow. Michele Del Vicario, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on the role of confirmation bias in the emergence of echo chambers, a data-driven approach. Samuele Domignoni, PhD in Political History, with a thesis on the international dimensions of electoral frauds and the electoral malpractices, the South Caucasus. His doctoral thesis is in a co-tutelle agreement with the University of Sciences Po Paris. Omar Alonso Doria Arrieta, PhD in Economics, Markets, and Institutions, with a thesis on essays on the use of big data in development economics. Andrea Flori, PhD in Economics, with a thesis on 3 essays on systemic risk and financial stability. Benedetta Frassi, PhD in Economics, with a thesis on 3 essays on pension systems and fiscal sustainability. Duccio Gamanossi degli Innocenti, PhD in Economics, with a thesis on essays on tax collection and local government efficiency. Silvia Giordano, PhD in Management and Development of Cultural Heritage, with a thesis on internationalization practices applied to the management of opera houses, empirical evidences from Italy and China. Pietro Lenarda, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on modeling and simulation of a class of nonlinear coupled reaction diffusion problems for green applications. Andrea Morichetta, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on a formal approach to decision support on mobile cloud computing applications. Giuseppe Papalardo, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on the financial value of data. Fabiana Zollo, PhD in Computer Decision and System Science, with a thesis on emotional contagion and group polarization, experimental evidence on Facebook. Thank you very much for attending the IMT School for Advanced Studies Lucca PhD graduation ceremony Lucca. We now invite all the guests to the cocktail that will take place outside in the cloisters.
Le autorità, ringrazio tutti i colleghi presenti, e i professori, gli amici della scuola, ovviamente gli studenti che oggi hanno celebrato il loro giorno, gli studenti che sono in corso, e grazie a tutti, c'è il cocktail per celebrare questo giorno. Grazie.